your initial reaction to like, I want to help people, all you hear about Goldman Sachs or the financial sector is, that they're screwing people over or whatever. I mean, if you think that's bad, you got to see people who don't have a plan. Doesn't end great.
Oh, I know. I know how it ends for people that don't have a plan. That you know what's funny about that you mentioned that because this kind of dovetails into something else. But I started wondering, like, okay, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's not that maybe health isn't that big of a deal, right? Maybe being fit is just, running up the score, but we just like maybe it's not as bad as I think it is.
Yeah.
So I started digging in and doing some research. I had a doctor over at Kaiser who was a financial client of mine. She was like, "No, I want to help you with this project." So I wanted to figure out like what does it really cost people to have the typical chronic diseases? Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not that big of a deal and maybe it's not preventing people from retiring and maybe they don't really have to work that hard. Like maybe everybody has it right and I had it wrong. And what I discovered was some of the minor ones. Like I just picked out the ones that people typically get diagnosed with: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, ADHD. That's a big one, and osteoporosis. And then eventually I threw in Alzheimer's. And almost all of those, other than the ADHD, the heart disease, osteoporosis, high blood pressure, diabetes, I included diabetes, and all of those are chronic diseases that are correlated with obesity. And what I discovered is it's a gigantic bill. Like it's the equivalent of retirement kind of price tag that people are paying for not getting their health in order, not fighting their chronic disease. Yeah, and I thought, okay, I've got to tell everybody. But so I started doing some seminars in 2013 and invited some doctor friends I knew and they saw it and went, "Well, we want to help and we want to join in." And so we did a few more with them and everything, but it's really, really a lot of work to produce an event like that on your own without somebody helping. And so I didn't continue it, but it's a message that people really, really need to hear. Because if you're looking at like, gosh, I hate my job, or gosh, at least I like it, but I want to retire. I can't wait to retire. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck if you're also battling diabetes and heart disease and everything else, because unless you've got a pension, like my dad did as a teacher, your money is going to your chronic condition. You're not going to have it in your investment account. And
Yeah.
even if you do have it in your investment account, by some miracle, you manage your money really, really well. And in spite of inflation and everything else, get ready to spend most of it on your health care
Yeah.
in retirement and not doing the fun things that you think you're going to go retire to do.
Well, and I think we kind of have to talk about how we met then because, as far as the hidden healthcare costs, I got a full basketball scholarship to junior college for all of $4,000. And
They
20
offer
years later, I'm
scholarships to
reaching
junior
out to you.
college?
What's that?
They offer scholarships to junior college?
Yeah.
That's
I got a
wild, or
full
at least
athletic scholarship.
they did 40 years ago. Sure, 20
Wait,
years ago.
maybe like 60 something. Be a very
Sorry.
different conversation about
Sorry.
retirement right now.
20 years ago, you're right. You look great for your age, by the way. Should I call you sir?
Let's wrap this up. Wheel of Fortune's on. No,
Right.
so I got a scholarship to I guess what you would call like a last chance U before that was a term. And I eventually figured out that I'd been signed to be a good influence, as far as I could tell, because the guy transferred in. We kind of specialized in very talented players
Figured
who
that out is what I
had
want to
gotten in
know.
behavioral issues at other schools.
Huh.
So like my
So you just
best
hid yours better than he did.
no, my best friend that year had done like he was gonna go to Wisconsin and play, and then he did jail time over the summer, and there we are. Point guard, very talented point guard, transferred in the semester, and I was like, "So what's up, man? Why'd you transfer?" And he's like, "Oh well, this dude talked to my girl, so I hit him in the head with a brick,
Really?
and I never fouled that guy in practice. I'm not making that up.
I
I
bet you did
am
it.
not. I'm
I
like,
bet
oh
you
look,
did.
you got another layup. I didn't guard
He
you. I don't know."
he's just this side of crazy.
And so,
You could take
unfortunately,
him
what
elbow to the
happened
nose.
for my
You
$4,000 there was that due to improper training, because we had, like a guy that played Milwaukee for the Milwaukee Bucks for a couple seasons as a point guard,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Oh, well, you were a pro athlete, you can be in charge of athletic training," despite the fact that he had no background in it, and so that's how I got hurt both times,
That
probably.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that
told me
makes sense.
to bench press improperly. That tore my rotator cuff, and then I wound up blowing out my knee, kind of tangled up with another player, and I hyperextended my right knee and blew it out. Uh,
Mhm.
but I don't know if that would have happened if I would have been kind of properly trained, properly, stretched, properly strengthened. And
No.
so my $4,000 scholarship, by the time I got through all that, and then the recurring issues that happened in my life, were probably a $30,000 investment.
I was
Um
just gonna say it was easily 3 times that, but almost
Yeah, and
more,
so
almost
you're like
10.
the only person in the world I could find to fix my shoulder, because
You're
I kept
welcome.
trying to lift different ways, and I'm like, "Oh, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work, what the heck?" Tried a
It
couple
makes
different
me
trainers.
It
What's
makes me
that?
really happy to hear you say that because sometimes I have this ability to go really, really wide on subjects where I
Yeah,
can learn a lot of little things about stuff, but not go super, super deep in anything that I'm not incredibly interested in. So
yeah,
I looked at training like, that's easy for me. Okay, I want to know all the different things, all the things that affect an injury, not just the muscles, not just the injury itself. Like that's why I recommended chiropractic. And I have all these other like, oh, let me research and understand scientifically these other modalities that can play into something like your condition.
yeah.
So that's what I do
Uh,
differently.
I had previously tried to work with trainers, trying to figure out what to do with my shoulder, what kind of workouts can I do, and, like, one of them had me do 120 push-ups in the first workout, and I, like, couldn't move my left arm after that. He's like, "Well, your shoulder's just not strong enough, so we're gonna hit it really hard." And, I mean, it's probably a month recovering from it, and
I bet.
so, uh
So how much did he tear it extra?
Uh, good good question. Very good
Yeah, I'm
question.
really
And
sorry.
so
This is
that's
what frustrates me about new trainers.
is
Like
it's
they're like a kid with like a shiny new toy. "Ooh, I know all this stuff now. Ooh, now let me try it out on you."